Good morning to a brand new day. Time to learn and games to play. Learning things is so much fun. Learning is good for everyone.
Good morning, third graders. My name is Mrs. Nixon. I am so excited to be here with you and support you as you become amazing thinkers, readers, and writers. So it's Monday, so happy Monday. I have a couple of things I want to talk with you about. Did you read a fantastic book over the weekend? You did? I'd love to hear all about it. And there's a really simple way that you can do that. We're going to pop up an address right here at the bottom of your screen, and you should start seeing it right about now. If you jot that down and send me a note, you can tell me what fantastic book you read over this weekend. And if you do that, I will share one of these really fun activity books. This one happens to be the Arthur one. It is full of different activities. So you've got word searches and puzzles and all sorts of fun activities to keep your brains busy and thinking. Speaking of also reading books, there's a couple of different ways that you could check out your books, either your local county library or here in Fresno Unified, you can do it using our apps on our phone called Sora. Now, we love to count down the top 5 schools that have been checking out books using that Sora app. And so let's check out who was in 5th place last week. Here they are. Oh my goodness, it's our friends over at Mayfair. So great job, Mayfair Elementary. If you want to see your school's name up on our great shout out poster board, it's super easy. All you need to do is check out those books using that app Sora. All right, 3rd grade, I have 3 things that we're going to go through today. We're going to look at inflectional endings, suffixes, and then finish off with some homographs. Okay, so let's warm up those really smart muscles that we have. That's right, let's warm up our brains this morning, and let's look at these high-frequency words. Now, remember, a high-frequency word is that word we come across often in our reading and writing. And as 3rd graders, it's really important that we not only be able to read them, but we need to be able to write them and spell them correctly. So if you see something up here and you think to yourself, I might need to practice that one a little bit more, that's okay. Jot it down, put it on a Post-it note, practice it while you're brushing your teeth in the morning. It's super easy, and by the end of the week, you'll have it. Okay, let's go through and let's read them together. You read them big and loud at home. I want to hear you all the way down here. Here we go. Would, work, word, with, wish, will, who, why, white, and which. Excellent job. Okay, let's practice these 2. So we've got would, W-O-U-L-D, and work, W-O-R-K. Help me put them in a couple of sentences. Okay, do you think that would and that be fun? Okay, well, that work be fun doesn't make sense, but I could say that would be fun. And do you think that would work? What do you think? Think it works? Good job. All right, let's get started with some of these inflectional endings. Now, we've been practicing inflectional endings over the last few weeks, and inflectional endings are simply when we're adding an S, ED, or an ING. Now, I also have in here ES because I want us to remember when we're making a word plural, sometimes we can't just add the S, we need to add ES. Do you remember when? That's right, it's when we've got those words that end with SH, CH, X, double S. You remember that from a few weeks ago? Okay, good. So I put it up here just as a little bit of a review as we go through. Okay, so looking at the word cover, there's no E at the end, there's nothing there, so that's just a single cover. If we had, if something covers a large area, we simply just add an S. Or she puts lots of covers on at night. That's what my husband would tell me. All right, then wash. We did one wash. We did many washes. We would add the es. And why are we adding that es? That's right, because this word ends with sh. Okay, so I'm going to practice adding an ed and an ing to a word, and this word right here is disappear. And what's really interesting about the word disappear is that you're going to notice here we have a long E sound at the end. And so it really just ends with that consonant, but it has a long vowel sound, so there's nothing that we're required to do. We can just say someone disappeared simply by adding ed. Now, here's that tricky part, because we can look here at submit, and we see that submit has a vowel and a consonant, but this vowel right here is a short vowel sound. And so there's something special we do with our short vowels. Do you remember? That's right. We need to double that final consonant before we add that ed or ing. So submitting, we double that final consonant and then add the ing. All right, we're going to do a little bit of practice with all of that here in just a second. I have one other thing. I'm going to move this out of my way. One other thing that I do want us to talk about, because we've been practicing it in third grade, it's really big, especially as we get into those multisyllabic words and we're training our brain to see chunks of words. We've been practicing those prefixes, those base words. We're going to review a little bit more this week with suffixes. So the three suffixes that we're going to practice this week are less, full, and able. Okay, so let's talk about it. Less means without. So if I were to add less to the base word power, I no longer have power. I'm without power. I am powerless. Good. And then full simply means full of something. So if I have the base word care and I want to add the suffix full, now I am full of care and my word is careful. See how we put that together? Now we've got the base word approach. Now able means that it can be done or it's a good fit or it's good for. This one happens to be that you can approach something. Maybe the dog, maybe it's barking, but you know that it's approachable because the tail is wagging. Okay, so let's go through and let's do a little bit of practice with some of these inflectional endings and suffixes. Okay, so when we're looking here, this is some great practice on those spelling patterns, because remember, in third grade, we need to be able to know when we're adding those inflectional endings, how to do the correct spelling. So we're going to read each sentence, circle the word with the correct S, ED, or ING spelling. So let's look right here. We named our puppy Boots. Okay, which way do we spell named? Do I just add the ED after the word name, or do I need to drop that E? You got it. This is a good review for us. We want to make sure that we drop that E. That looks really funny, right? Okay, how about this one? He is hoping to win first place. Which word says the word hoping? What do we do when there's an E at the end before we add that inflectional ending? Yes, we have to drop that E before we add ING. So it would be right here. Now, some of you might say, oh, but that's hopping. Okay, what was our rule if it was a short vowel sound? This has a long vowel, hope. Let's look and see what it looks like with a short vowel sound. Someone dropped the vase and broke it. Here's a short vowel sound. So this would be droped. What did we have to do to keep it with a short vowel sound? Yes, we had to double that final consonant. Good job. All right, last sentence, my little sister races around on her tricycle. All right, remember when it ends with E, we're just simply adding that S. Third grade, you're doing fantastic. Okay, going down here, we're adding some of our suffixes to our words, and we've got tear. If we're full of tears, what is our word? It becomes tearful. So we simply add that suffix right on the end of our word. How about wash and able? We're able to wash it all the time. If that shirt is washable, we put it all together and we have the word washable. Excellent. How about help plus less? Well, we're not going to be helpful, we're helpless. So we're going to put that together, and that just means that someone is unable to be helpful, right? Okay, and how about this final one, cheer and full? So we're full of cheer. We would say the girl was very cheerful today when we saw her. Awesome job. Okay, let's switch gears one last time, and we're going to talk a little bit about homographs. Now, homo means one, graphs is talking about something that we're seeing in print, okay? And so this simply means that they are words that have the same spelling. There's one spelling, but they have different meanings. Okay, so you're thinking to yourself, I need some examples. Okay, well, let's look at this right here. What about the word fall? The word fall can have two different meanings. It can mean like the season fall, where you have all the leaves that are falling down, or it could mean that you fell down the steps, right? Be careful, we don't want you to fall. Those have two, that word has two meanings. It is a homograph. So I've got a few of them up here. I want to just practice a little bit. So here's one right here. The word is bat. So think inside your mind, you've got the animal bat as well as a baseball bat. Okay, so let me show you so we can practice what this could look like in application. So I have the word bear. Bear and bear. Okay, what comes to mind when you think of that word? Let's look at some options here. Does it mean to carry? Does it mean a big, heavy animal with thick fur and a short tail? Does it mean manage to accept? Okay, third grade, bear can have multiple meanings. It's a homograph, and we don't know what they're talking about until we look at it in a sentence. So now let's look at our sentence here. Jessie was from the country and could not bear to see the garden as it was. Ooh, is she talking about that animal with thick fur? She could not bear to see? Bear to see. Well, it doesn't sound like she liked seeing her garden the way that it was. So I don't think that she's talking about the animal. I think she's talking about she's having a hard time managing how to accept that. Excellent job. All right, third grade, it was fantastic hanging out with you this morning as you're getting ready for school today. So remember, you're responsible for your learning success. So listen, ask questions, and share your ideas, because together we can do so much more. Have a fantastic afternoon, and I look forward to seeing you back here at PBS. Bye-bye.
A brand new day, time to learn and games to play. Learning things is so much fun. Learning is good for everyone.